Hello and welcome to another game with Domain Zoo. This is an extra one since I was re-recording the first game anyway. This seems like a keep, but I'm not certain. I can cast a turn 1 Wildner Cattle, but after that I don't have any action. And I am on the play. My opponent is mulliganing to 5 and finally keep, so maybe that is enough. Let's wish our opponent good luck. And the colonnade indicates that they are on some form of control list, which is not great, because that means late game they will take over, and it seems like he is going to get to the late game just fine, as I don't have any early game pressure other than a 2-2. And since he is playing, it seems a red, I don't think my Wildner Cattle has a huge chance of surviving. What we can do though is part my own cattle when he lightning bolts it eventually, and use it to get a basic land. I think a mountain, of course, as that will allow us to put some pressure on with other cards. But for as long as he lets us attack with the Wildner Cattle, we will attack with the Wildner Cattle. And the Electrolyze. Well, he points both of them. Both points of damage towards the Wildner Cattle. That's very good for us, since it will be gone. Electrolyze will have no more targets, and he won't get to draw a card. Sadly, still nothing we can do this turn, but this should set up our next turn a little bit better, and we can finally start getting these red cards out of our hand. Let's see if this gets countered, which it very well might. Yes, indeed it does. Nothing to do here. Just pass the turn. Since everything in my hand requires red mana, I can't cast multiple spells a turn, which is a shame. But that's the way things are. An overgrown tomb, that's great. That means we can cast a Burning Tree Emissary with double green, producing another red mana now. There we go. And we're putting on some pressure finally. A Spell Snare. Well, that is a shame. That means the Tarka's command will never be great. And next turn he might be able to activate the colonnade or remove one of our lands from play. That's why I didn't want to cast the Curd Ape, that would incentivize him to destroy one of our lands. And I'd like to keep those lands around. Because of the spell snare, next turn I won't try to play multiple spells, I will just try to play the Siege Rhino. Or not. No Siege Rhino. Maybe a Siege Rhino, let's see what happens. I'll just attack with the team. We know about the spell snare, so a target command won't be useful here. A lightning bolt, that's fine. And a lightning helix. That's less fine, but it will happen anyway. Still the Snapcaster. But this does mean he only has 1 mana available and no counterspells anymore. So let's get our remaining black source. And get the Rhino on board. That should be hard for him to deal with. Passing the turn, not great for us. Means he probably has a few spells waiting in his hand. One of which is Snapcaster, the other a spell Snare. The third one we don't know. If he's going for Snapcaster Mana Leak or Snapcaster Lightning Helix, that will be great. That means we can cast or a Tarkas command. So let's run out the Goblin Guide and see what happens. Will he tap out or not? This attack would put him to 1, and I imagine that he might want to preserve some life here. So Snapcaster on the Lightning Helix would be the play that would gain him the most life and get rid of both Goblin Guides. There we go. The Snapcaster, what does it target? Targeting a Lightning Helix. That's great. Let's wait for Lightning Helix to hit the stack. And then we will have a surprise for him. Since he can't gain life this turn, and my creatures are getting bigger. So now he's almost forced to jump with the Snapcaster or go to 1. And sadly for him, this won't kill the Goblin Guide anymore. So now he has 2 lethal threats to deal with. Well, one not so lethal, but still quite scary. And we successfully played around the Spell Snare, which hopefully won't be relevant for a while. He did draw 2 lands, an island and a Flooded Strand. I can't imagine he wants to crack the Flooded Strand anymore. So yeah, let's attack. What is his plan to deal with this situation? A cryptic command. He doesn't want to bounce the Rhino, so I think he is going to tap the team. Yes, and draw a card. Let's just play the Curd Ape. And do I want to run out the Stomping Ground tapped? I don't think so. Maybe he has not a land destruction land, Tectonic Edge or Ghost Quarters, and he wants to cut me off of my green. And then we have a backup source. We won't need this land anyway, and if paying the life is going to matter, then we're in a bad spot already. Okay, Supreme Verdict. We are in a bad spot. So what are we going to do to get out of this? That seems like a fine answer to that question. He would need another one, and cracking the Flooded Strand puts him in range of lightning bolts, so that's not great for him either. A Wall of Omens. That's not going to do it. It's going to stop the Geist itself, but not the Angel token. Maybe he has another Cryptic? I don't know. I am going to play the Foothills. I probably should have not have done that before combat. A Vendilion Clique. Who does he target with that, and how is he going to block? He targets himself. What does he want to get out of his hand? Is it the Spell Snare? It is the Spell Snare. And then, how is he going to block? Is he trying to block the Geist? And does he have a removal spell for the Angel? He does. Well, that's not a very efficient answer, but at this point he doesn't really care about efficiency. He just wants to stay alive. Is Is he going to get rid of the Geist here? Yes, he is. So maybe he doesn't have... Well, we know he has one spell snare less. Maybe that means he has no spell snares. Maybe it means he was stuck on 2 spell snares. I don't know. But our spells are turned... What am I trying to say here? I am trying to say that our burn spells that cost 2 mana are turned on again. But a Snapcaster is really bad because he has the mana to pay for the Cryptic now. I was a bit thoughtless in running the Geist out. As this will get him back into the game. What I should have done is waited until I had drawn more cards, probably a burn spell to cast in response when I was going for the Geist plan. That is what I should have done, this is what I did, and well, this is how I get punished for it. Now he is putting pressure on us with the Colonnade. And if we don't draw into something soon, that means the game will be over quite quickly. I should have fetched here to get another land, but I'm gonna run out another Geist. This time he only has 2 mana, so the worst thing that could happen to me is a mana leak, which I have the mana to pay for. Colonnades have flying when animated, so I won't be able to attack for lethal, but I will force him to keep at least a Colonnade back to defend. And maybe trading a Geist against a Snapcaster and an Angel token for the Colonnade is not too bad. However, I really want to draw lightning bolts here, so this turn I am going to crack the foothills. What do I want to get? I don't know yet. Doesn't really matter at this point. Maybe another blue source? Not really, since all the guys are either in play or in the graveyard. So I think a Sacred Foundry here will be allowing us to cast the most of our spells. Attacking here is not great, since it will run into a Colonnade and a Snapcaster, and he will have another Colonnade to attack back. If we don't attack and keep the Geist ready to attack, then he will have to keep mana open every turn and can't attack with his Colonnades. So that will make sure he doesn't kill us, and give us more time to draw into one of our spells. And lightning bolt, well, that's not nice. Another lightning bolt, also not nice. That means we are dead here. Not having fetched wouldn't have changed anything. Interesting. He keeps drawing lightning bolts while we miss. That's what this deck is supposed to do. Well, those Siege Rhinos and the Become Immense can come out. And the Combust can come in. What else would be great? Trun would be great. And maybe a Vines. I want to keep one Siege Rhino in for the top end. No, I don't. Second, a Vines. This seems like it would be good, so let's submit. Right, the second game, and I am on the play. This hand I will keep. We have a lot of action and a lot of plays to make. If we ever draw a second land, it's going to be even better. But we definitely don't need to do that. Paying the life, yes. And I think I'm getting the Kurt Ape online first. That means we have two different kinds of mana to play on the next turn. If we hit something and we can, if we hit a land that is not red or not green, we can still cast two threats that turn. The Goblin Guide I will keep in hand for once we draw our second land and cast two threats a turn. For now I just want to keep building my board slowly and not give him access to more lands. He probably has a lightning bolt available, I don't know. Is this the time to cast the guide? I think I still want to wait here and pay the Nacatl. Let's attack for 4, and if he has a lightning bolt, then I let him a lightning bolt. He knows a Nacatl is coming, so maybe he wants to bolt that one. No. That would have saved him more damage next turn, but he's not thinking that long term, I think. That means he probably has some sort of answers for them. Like a Wall Homens. If we draw a white producing land, then we get Pride Mage into play and attack with a Nacatl. It will be a 4/4 then. No, still no lands. That's a shame. But no fear, we can keep putting threats into play. A Vendilion Click. Well, that's good. I'd rather not have him draw lands, since it seems he is stuck. Also, he didn't block, which is kind of weird. We didn't have any mana open. Maybe he was afraid of a lightning bolt if he blocked. That I'd play a land in a second main phase and then bolt it. A bolt for the Goblin Guide. Finally a land. This is going to be green-white. Paying the life. So, what is the play this turn? I want to put as much power on board as possible, and I think the best way to keep threatening his life is by putting more power on board and removing his blocker. Before we get access to more mana, he wants to get rid of the Curd Ape. That is fine. Well, it's not fine, but we can't do anything about it anyway. So, do I want to attack with the Goblin Guide here? If there's a land on top, he is going to draw it anyway. And he has a spell for his third mana. So that means if there's a land on top, it doesn't matter. If there's not a land on top, we get more information. So I think it's just better to do so, to attack here. If we do give him a land, that's a shame, but it will have to happen eventually. Also, this is a land that costs him a life, which is pretty good for us. That is less good for us. Right, this will get us blue mana. Should not have done this before attacks, but I think red, blue I can't, so I need to do it like this. A Restoration Angel, yes. I had a feeling he was playing those. That's not a surprise. So, what next? He has the mana to cast a Restoration Angel. Maybe he's trying to ambush the Geist. If he does, he will run into an Ataka's command, bumping both the Goblin Guide, the Angel token, and dealing 3 damage to his face. So if he is going for that play, it's a mistake, I think. He has to come up with something else. Even if I didn't have the command, he would flash in the Angel, costing him a life, block the Geist, and take 6 from the Angel and the Goblin Guide, going to 2. That's not a great plan against any aggressive deck. So maybe he has a different plan here. It doesn't seem like it. So let's just attack and see what happens. Oh, he has to crack 2 lands. I think this is a mistake to do it now. He should wait until the trigger of the Goblin Guide is resolved before getting lands out of his deck. This way he has less chance to gain a land from the Goblin Guide. And that gives me free information if the game were to last another turn. A Snapcaster. What is he the lightning helix. Let's wait until the helix is on the stack. We'll block the Geist and helix the Goblin Guide, I think. Which is a fine plan. But he can't gain life. And he takes 3 this turn. That is exactly lethal with the 4 of the Angel. Doing it before the trick of the Geist resource is a good thing, since I can't choose the +1/+1 to my creatures mode. I can, but it won't pump the Angel. It would make the Geist survive the Snapcaster. So it wouldn't be very well. It would still be a decent play, but it wouldn't end the game now. And this play ended the game now, and I think that had a lot of value. So what do I want? I think it is fine like it is. Becoming Mance could be very good if I were to cast it for 1 mana and blank a removal spell from him, and then still attack for a lot. So maybe I should put that in instead of a Pride Mage, maybe. Let's try Becoming Mance out. Our opponent is on the play now. And this is our hand. It's basically the same hand as last game, and that is a really fine hand. Except we are on the draw now. So let's see what our first draw is. The Steam Fence, that is really nice. Means we can fetch something else with the Wooded Foothills. We don't have to fetch a mountain. So I will just run out the Steam Fence here, waiting to fetch, since I don't mind drawing another land here. Geist is a really potent threat. And just run out the Curd Ape. It doesn't really matter if he enters the game as a 2/3 or 1/1 at this point, as long as he doesn't have 3 mana for the card, what's it called? Electrolyze. At that point he can get value out of the fact that it's not 3 toughness, but otherwise it doesn't really matter. I am getting a green-white source here. And I am paying the life. How am I going to play this turn? Is it worth it for me to wind away a lightning bolt? I don't think it is, if I can't use it to gain value out of it. And I think it is worth it to cast a Tarkas command to save him from a lightning bolt. There is no lightning bolt. Well, that means I'm just going to run out the Nacatl. A Tarkas command for 3 plus any counter, any pump to the team. Lightning bolt for 3, Tribal Flames for 4 at the moment. I have a lot of burn in my hand. And the Becoming Mance for later. Well, I'm going to attack. I'm looking to use a Tarkas command here. There's nothing else I can really do. It has the potential of running into a spell snare. So that is probably not the best thing to do. Also, I clicked through to the damage step and it's too late to cast it now. I can Tribal Flames him here. Since I saw mana leaks out of him, that makes it less likely he is playing Remand. Playing a spell here into Remand would be very bad. That said, it is very likely he has some form of counter magic, otherwise he would have done something. I'm not going to play into it here. Since I am beating him down on board, it is his turn to make a play, and once he does, I can fire off these spells. Yes, I don't want him to gain 6 life. So let's do that and deal 3 to him. Still, we're open to Spell Snare, and if he had it, he would cast it here. He doesn't have it. That is nice information. That means we can Tribal Flames to his face now, without fear of it becoming countered. I think that's what I'm going to do. And that should be it. He is complaining he could not block, and I think it is because he clicked through his declare blocker step. So it is a mistake from his part. I wanted to say good game is back, but the game wouldn't let me. So that are the games.